Race. What does that word even mean? To me it means nothing, at least not in terms of the human condition. I've heard something disturbing lately. Scientific racism. This is the new oxymoron of the 21st century. I say this because there is nothing scientific about bigotry, and that's what this is. Racism clothed in supposedly scientific analysis of things that are frankly irrelevant. It's yet another excuse to attack people based on factors beyond their control and ultimately of no relevance to society. Many YouTube users have addressed some of the worst offenders on this issue, and they are linked in the below bar. I don't intend to repeat their arguments here because I have no intention of being redundant. What I will instead do is give my own opinion on this and also provide a little history. My dad is a racist. He has been for as long as I remember. No, he's not one of these white supremacists who goes out with a Nazi tattoo on his head, trashing the local neighbourhood and threatening local residents who do not conform to the typical white person in England or anywhere else you might happen to live. But he still sees people whose melanin count is higher than his own as inferior. My mother, on the other hand, is about as racist as Stephen Fry is homophobic. She doesn't care what skin pigmentation or eye shape a person has. She only cares who they are and how they behave. And I've adopted this stance myself. Obviously they're not living together and have not done so for more than 2 decades. I wouldn't be able to live with a racist either. I have some involuntary racist tendencies myself. Allow me to clarify. I have an instinctual response to be wary around black men. This is in no way their fault. No way whatsoever. It goes back to several key points in my history. The only one I will disclose is on New Year's Day 2008, a few months before I started using YouTube for the first time. I was robbed at knife point. The kids who did it were black, wore hoodies and pounced on me in the middle of nowhere as I was cycling home. That has put me in the unfortunate position of distrust, expecting to be attacked again whenever I am out anywhere, and unfortunately this tends to colour my perception of black men until I get to know them. Rational thought suggests that to distrust an entire ethnic origin on the basis of a few unfortunate events in my life is completely unwarranted and irrational, and I recognise that. After all, it could have just as easily been 3 white boys who attacked me that day. My response is purely instinctual and is entirely my own problem. I will readily apologise to anyone I offend in the retelling of this story and to anyone who comes across me and finds I do not react fairly with. And from an entirely rational point of view, as far as I'm concerned, where a person is born is irrelevant. All of this nonsense about IQ scores and ethnic background is bullshit. There are some extremely intelligent people from ethnic backgrounds outside of my own, and also some really stupid white people. Some of them are on YouTube pushing this scientific racism nonsense. Some of them are screaming anti-government propaganda from the rooftops. Some of them are doing both, such as Fringe Elements. I watched his so-called debate with the skeptical heretic. That was some of the poorest nonsensical bullshit I've seen from people in his camp since white supremacists took to the streets in England and screamed about how they were the master race while drooling all over the floor in a drunken stupor and spilling half of their bottles of White Lightning and Special Brew. Race is not a biological distinction. It is a social construct, just like the difference between a mountain and a hill. It's one we made up in the past to distinguish between different skin colours so that white people could claim superiority over non-white people. And now they're trying it again. This so-called scientific racism is as bad as young earth creationism. In many cases it could be seen as worse because at least creationists outright deny evolution, whereas these racists have tried to hijack it. They have tried to paint a picture of there being genetic differences between ethnicities which can easily be disproved. If there is more genetic variation between the genders than there is between the so-called races, then that's it. Game over, end of discussion. Except that these scientific racists are just like young earth creationists, moon hoaxers, 9/11 truthers, and Shane DK and his sycophants. They'll ignore anything that disproves their nonsense and cherry pick anything that seems to support their case. Unfortunately, as is the case with creationists, hoaxers, truthers, and Shane DK, that doesn't make them right.